Narcissistic people feel too entitled to have any remorse for hurting you. It was not their fault. You are overreacting, or it never happened. Some, however, will give an apology if they think it is in their favor, such as they fear how you will react if they do not give one. However, an apology from a narcissist is fake, as they are not sorry. Yet you can learn a lot about how the narcissist feels about you and what they think about you by how they apologize and the words they use. Following are 12 of the most common ways narcissists give fake apologies and what the hidden message behind the apology is. I am sorry that you. This is a classic blame-shifting apology with multiple versions. This apology takes the blame of a narcissist's actions and places it on you as being the problem. It is not their behavior or words, but your reaction and the thoughts to it that are the problem. For example, you say you feel hurt by what they did, and they respond with, I am sorry that you feel this way, or I am sorry that you think I hurt you, or I am sorry that you cannot take a joke, or I am sorry that you cannot take a bit of criticism. A short version that is very popular is where the narcissist drops the I as they distance themselves from any responsibility, such as saying, sorry you feel this way. You will note that frequently they avoid referring to any of their actions. So, they would rarely say, I am sorry me standing you up hurt you. And most of the time they will also try avoid mentioning your feelings, such as instead of saying, sorry that I upset or hurt you, they will say, sorry you feel this way. This invalidates your feelings and minimizes your pain. Something to note in all apologies, but especially this one, is if the person uses past tense words. They know you're still upset because you're asking for an apology. They then say, sorry you felt this way, or sorry you felt upset. The message is that they consider the topic closed and you need to let things be. They have moved on and expect you to move on as well. Your feelings is not important enough to them to warrant any more of their time, as I think they did nothing wrong, and it is your problem if you get upset about their actions. You can ask them, do you feel I have a right to be upset about your actions? Or a more direct question, do you think what you did was wrong? I'm sorry if. This is a masterful blanket apology. They do not admit to any specific action of theirs as being the problem, but hint that you may be the problem, such as them saying, I'm sorry if I offended you, or I'm sorry if I did anything to hurt you. The brilliance is that they can do multiple things to hurt you and use one blanket apology to get away with it, such as saying, I'm sorry if I said or did anything on holiday that upset you. Now they just apologized in their mind for an entire trip without taking ownership for any single action. If you later point out how you were hurt when they flirted with a server, they can snap back and say, but I did apologize. It is such a lame apology, it is not even worth listening to. Ask them, what specifically are you apologizing for? Or, how did you upset me? If they don't know specifically what they did to upset you, they cannot possibly be sorry for their actions. I am sorry, but. This apology is often used when they are pushed into a corner and cannot deny what they did, or denying their actions will have undesired consequences for them. Still unable to take responsibility for their actions, they need to make an excuse for their behaviors and shift the blame. The message is, okay, I did it, but it was not my fault, so I don't need to make things right with you. Or, okay, I did this, but I was a victim and you should feel sorry for me. This apology is a favorite amongst covert narcissists. They may say, I'm sorry, but I was drunk. Or, I'm sorry, but I was caught up in the moment. Of course, many will shift the blame onto you, such as, I'm sorry, but you know how to push my buttons. Or, I'm sorry, but everyone else thought it was a funny joke. Or, sorry, but you should learn to take some criticism. You can try to point out to them that if they need to make an excuse for their actions, then they are not sorry, as they are not accepting blame, such as, that is no excuse for what you did, or, even if true, you still hurt me. However, with people who frequently shift blame, trying to nail them down rarely go as planned. I was just. This apology does not even try to apologize. The person tries to use the apology to justify their actions. They are trying to get you to accept their behavior without them even needing to say sorry, while accepting some bogus excuse, such as saying, I was just making a joke, or I was just giving you some honest feedback, or I was just kidding, or I was just trying to help. None of the reasons I give is any justification for them not needing to say sorry or for them not needing to make things right with you. This is another favorite of covert narcissists who often have this comeback ready for when you respond to their insults and put-downs. You can try to respond with, "You may think it is funny to put others down, but it is not," or a more direct one, "That was not criticism or feedback, that was an insult," or "Even if you did not intend to hurt me, you did." If they don't apologize after that line, they are not going to accept responsibility. "I have already." This is a shutdown apology, almost like them saying, "This is now the final straw." It often follows after you did not want to accept one of their other apologies, especially the blanket apology where they just say, "Sorry if I said anything that hurt you." You try to get them to admit to the specific thing they did to hurt you, and they use this to avoid giving an apology. It is also a handy cop-out if they use the blame-shifting or excuse apology and you refuse to accept the excuse for hurting you. Instead of accepting responsibility, they just claim they already apologized while disregarding the fact that you rejected the excuse and apology. The message here is that the argument is over. They may say, "I already apologized," or "I already said I was sorry." What is interesting to note is when they use past tense as in the previous example, they were sorry, which means they are no longer sorry. This is another hint that they have moved on and don't care about your feelings. You may say, "You may have apologized before, but I need to hear it again," or "I need to believe that you are really sorry by hearing it now." "I regret." This seems like a sincere apology, but it is actually just a sidestepping move. By associating regret with apologizing, it sounds as if they are super sorry, but they are not. There's not even any ownership, and they even get away with not needing to say sorry. A very clever move. They may say, "I regret you got upset," or "I regret you felt hurt," or "I regret mistakes were made," which is even more of a vague apology because what mistakes were made and by who? You can ask, "What exactly do you regret?" or "How exactly did you hurt me?" I know I. This apology seems as if a person takes ownership, but is actually a big insult to you and an attempt to downplay or whitewash their actions. They may say, "I know I should not have said that," or "I know I probably should have told you," or "I know I can sometimes say hurtful things." What they are basically saying is, "Yes, I know you have a problem with my actions, and I knew at the time it was wrong, but you just don't matter enough for me to do anything about my behavior or to stop myself from doing something that I know will hurt you." This apology is often used in an attempt to shift blame, even onto you, such as, "I know I should not have said that, but only you can get under my skin like that, so now they imply it is your fault." No, it is not. They chose their actions. You may say, "Well, if you know it, why don't you do something about it?" Or, "If you knew it was wrong, why did you still do it or say it?" Or, "Me getting under your skin or pushing your buttons is no excuse. You could have chosen to walk away." You know it. This is another attempt to try and wiggle out of needing to apologize to you by implying that you know they are sorry. The message here is that they have nothing to apologize for and that they don't need to make it right with you. Because as you already know they are sorry, it is as good as an apology. And as they are suffering for hurting you, you cannot expect them to also make things right with you. They will often say, "You know I did not mean to hurt you," or "You know I feel sorry or bad for doing this," or "You know I would never hurt you," or "You know I would never hurt you on purpose." They may even use it with a double bind by claiming if you love them, you would know they are sorry, such as, "If you really love me, you would know how sorry I am for hurting you." Or, "If you understood me, you would know I would never try to hurt you on purpose." You can try saying, "No, I don't know," or "Why don't you tell me how sorry you are by apologizing?" "I will apologize if." The good old ransom apology, where you need to pay for your apology. The message is clear. You can get your apology if you really want it, but it is going to cost you. This person sees interaction as a business deal, and your relationship with them may be more for convenience purposes to them than love or friendship. This person is all about what is in it for them and will seldom do anything for you unless it in some way benefits them. An example may be, "I will only apologize if you apologize as well," or I will apologize if you agree to never bring this up again. I will say sorry about this if you stop asking me where I was last weekend. Sometimes I will turn the condition around, such as, promise to never talk about this again, and I will say sorry. This is basically a double bind, for you want an apology, but now it is going to cost you. If you do not agree to their unfair conditions, you don't get your fake apology. You may say, if you will only apologize when I do X, then you are not sorry. I guess This is a slippery ghost apology that does not exist. It gets your hopes up that they are sorry, but they don't actually give you an apology. If you listen closely, they don't say they are sorry and often will go into blame shifting. They may say, I guess I owe you an apology, or I guess I should apologize. They may throw the word sorry in without using it to say sorry, such as saying, I guess I should say I am sorry. This person is not sorry at all and is making massive efforts not to even say they are sorry. They are actively manipulating you, and the only reason they fake being sorry is that they realize you are upset, and if they don't do something, they may lose out in some way. They only do the minimum needed to smooth things over, but inside, they are laughing at you for how easily they get you to let them off the hook. You may try. Go ahead then, apologize. Or, okay, let's hear your apology. Or, while I'm waiting. X told me to apologize. This apology is a favorite amongst children, and often it stays with a person into adulthood. Even though the person may say they are sorry, they are not. They are blatantly telling you that the only reason they are saying anything at all is because someone else forced them, and they fear what that person will do if they do not apologize. Do not expect the person to try to remedy or make things right with you. This hollow forced apology is the best you are going to get. They may say, Mom told me to come and apologize, or my friend said I should say sorry. They can use a fictional person, such as saying, I would look bad if I don't apologize. They can also use the opportunity to elevate themselves, such as saying, a good person like me apologizes when someone says I did something wrong. They elevate themselves as a good person while not admitting they are wrong. They just say they apologize because you said they did something wrong. You may also find that they don't even say they are sorry. They may just say they were told to apologize, then give you a hug or flowers or some gift, and that is it. You may respond with, unless you do it out of your own free will, it is not an apology. Or, come back and apologize when you are really sorry. Or, so you only apologize because you were told to? Okay, fine, I'm sorry. Happy now? This apology is a slap through the face. There's not even an attempt to sound remorseful. The words are often blurted out. The message is, well, you wanted to hear me say sorry, so here you go. Now let things be. The words are as hollow as the love the person has for you. They may snap at you and say it, or just give it under their breath. A lot of the time they yell the apology out, such as, for F's sake, I'm sorry, okay? Or, enough already, sorry, there you go. Or, would you stop already? I'm sorry, alright? Their entire way of giving the apology, and the apology is a bullying tactic to try to force you to let things go in fear of how they will react if you push them more, and for you to not ask for an apology again for fear of how they will act. With this person, you need to be careful of comebacks as they can get violent. The only comeback I use in this situation is, I'm sorry you feel so little for me that this is how you apologize to me, which you can actually use as a comeback for all the other fake apologies. See the video suggested to you now to learn the 6 costly mistakes victims make when divorcing a narcissist.